Hello everyone, we're back with another video from the FFP. Today we're going to talk about Manchester City. I believe everybody has heard about the news about Manchester City being charged by the UEFA against financial fair play rules. So
Yes.
let's start with Manchester City this week. Their recent match was against, I believe, West Ham, and they won 2-0. I wasn't actually able to watch the match because of the timings of the game. So let's start.
Well,
Yeah.
where do I start from? In fact, I'll start with the financial fair play issue. Um, with Obviously, this is a very big blow for a club like Manchester City, obviously, and because it has a lot of implications to it. Manchester City isn't exactly a club with a lot of heritage involved, and a lot of historical fan following to the club either. So obviously, in recent times, since the new owners from Abu Dhabi came in, obviously they flushed in a lot of capital into the club and redid the whole structure of the club, brought in a couple of good players into the club as well. But now that Champions League isn't there, the type of players that Pep has been able to attract to Manchester City during his time at the Etihad, um, that will obviously take a blow. It's gone to an extent where Bernardo Silva even came out talking about how he thinks that his time at Monaco ended very briefly, and he feels like going back.
Hmm.
So if a player is talking about such issues, and over such a topic, then that's pretty alarming for a team, and especially for a team that has been performing every season the way City has been. It also puts on a lot of questions over the managerial position as well. If a coach like Pep would want to waste another 2 years in a club that has no Champions League football, because that's the European diamond that every club's trying to chase. So I guess it was a big blow, but then again there are different sides to the story as well. Manchester City being the club, the magnitude of the club wouldn't allow them to go down without a fight.
Yeah.
And I guess Mohsin could be able to put shed some light
Yeah.
over.
One thing I'd like to add is that the UEFA has charged, I believe, charged Manchester City
Hmm.
with the financial fair play breach, but at the same time, City has appealed to the UEFA,
Huh.
stating that the EPL gave them a pass on this, that their financial fair play rules were not in breach for EPL, so hence they were not in breach for the UEFA as well. So, what do you think?
See, there are a lot of there's no concrete news about this right now. Okay, we've heard a lot of different type of theories. I must say right now because nothing is evident for the time being. There have been news that they might get a point deduction. They will be relegated to the League Two, the second division of English football, and they have to get promoted twice or thrice to return back to the Premier League. That is one. And then we've heard another thing that from 2012 to 2016, they might award the title to the runners-up
Yes,
whenever Manchester City won, but I don't think that is likely to happen. The FA has ruled that out, and most of the clubs have said, they do not want to be awarded the title in that manner. Okay,
Yeah.
and then there's another thing coming that yes, what Dan mentioned is that a lot of players they would want to leave
yes.
because, for example, if you talk about a player like Kevin De Bruyne who's around 28, 29,
Yes, he's still
you,
pretty.
if you, even if you're only banned from the Champions League, he doesn't want to spend time just playing a league, and you lose a lot of motivation because
100%.
it is the biggest tournament in Europe, Champions League. You want to win the league as well and obviously do well in the Champions League, and every club, like for example right now Manchester City aren't winning the league, so the focus primarily goes towards the Champions League and trying to finish in the top four so you can be an automatic contender for the Champions League, and second spot is sufficient for that. But when you remove that element from your season, then you do not have much to play for. I mean, there is no motivation for the players, even for the manager.
Yeah, not everybody can be like Francesco Totti, sticking with
Yeah,
Roma.
you can't be, and plus, that is something different as well. I mean, Totti coming from Rome, playing for his childhood club, but even he has regrets. He admits that he should have moved to Real Madrid. He could have always come back. But a lot of these players, they're there for not a lot are homegrown. I can't recall anyone who is a homegrown player from the academy right now playing consistently, regularly in the senior team.
Yeah.
And they're all very big names. They want to play. They're still young. They're in their 20s. They would like to move somewhere and try to win
Improve
things,
their name, improve their wages.
like enhance their market value and win something.
Agreed.
By the time if they're if they're banned, I mean after 2 years, some players might reach 30 and they'll lose their prime. For example, Kevin De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, they're in their prime age right now.
Yeah.
But
And
I think some of the viewers out there, as in if it's not clear as to why, has there been such an action from the UEFA, it's primarily because, I'll just break it down for everyone. It's primarily because, the kind of income that, it all started with, a hacker hacking into Manchester City's, database, and that's where he could retrieve a lot of data out of that club and a lot of hidden secrets of that club as well. And he landed all of that data to a particular publication that I would choose not to name right now. Eventually, that publication went public with it. That's primarily what a publication technically does.
Yeah.
And after
Internet
that,
publication.
exactly. After that, this was taken to court, and obviously now after all the proceedings, so the issue particularly revolved around the fact that the kind of income that they were showing was inflated, and it wasn't at par with the kind of spending that they were particularly putting out to the club as well.
Yeah, so basically, clubs at that time were allowed to spend a percentage of their revenue. So, since Manchester City wanted to spend more, so they it is alleged that they inflated their revenue numbers so that they would be able to spend more on the
Exactly.
players. So,
Exactly.
but it's still alleged. Let's see how far this goes.
Yeah.
And this has resulted in a lot of repercussions for other clubs as well, especially
Exactly.
both in the Premier League and outside the Premier League as well. Like PSV is now right under the gun to be next named
I
for
think the
financial fair play.
fire's already been lit when you're talking about PSG, because their director has been accused of a couple of criminal allegations as well. So things are getting tighter by the day. For the good or the bad, that's something that only time will tell us. But I guess this is a very big blow in both terms. You know, if you're talking with respect to reputation, or if you're talking with respect to success for that club in the longer term.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
but
also opens up the fifth position in the Premier
yeah,
League.
Yes.
it does. But before that, Guardiola has said that they will still fight in the court, and Sheikh Al Mansour has his lawyers ready, so they will try and appeal. Whereas, yes, I agree with you, Dan, that the fire has been lit, and a lot of clubs have already been cleared. I mean, Manchester United and Liverpool's board has said that they're always being complying with the regulations set by the Financial Fair Play Institute. So they're safe. I mean, this was a statement to give their fans reassurance that do not worry, our clubs are safe. But this is a lesson for clubs like owners who like to spend big. I mean, if you talk about Chelsea has been under
I was
fire for
about
their
to name
transfer
them, yeah.
policy, and City right now, PSG as well.
And it becomes pretty unfair for clubs as well.
It
If you
does,
look at,
it does, and it tarnishes your reputation. I mean, look at City. 12 years ago, the Abu Dhabi oil money came in, the owners came in, and they were just growing into a club. They have a manager like Pep Guardiola. They have a
Agreed.
wonderful training facility. They have a very good youth academy.
Yes.
The problem is they're so inclined towards spending and buying players. They have very good players like Phil Foden and Phil Garcia who have talent to play in this Manchester City squad. But the philosophy right now is that they just want ready-made talent
A
inside.
blank check.
I mean, it's a club who has backup. They have a very strong squad, which can, the same squad can play for the next 2-3 seasons. But I mean, things like this damages the club entirely. I mean, it leaves your fans very devastated.
So what do you think is going to be the impact on the results? Because next 2 weeks they're going away and
I
they're
said
playing
I,
two big matches.
because I think that since they're under the knife, things are going to be very pressurizing for Pep Guardiola. If you look at the City versus West Ham match as well, you couldn't see the effects of that in that match unless until the match ended. Obviously, that's when Bernardo Silva came out and talked to the press and talked about probably going back to Monaco. And Pep Guardiola came out and he was questioned about his future in the club as well. But he reaffirmed his future as well. They generally played well because it was a team like West Ham. The actual test comes in when they go against a team like Real Madrid, obviously. With Real Madrid coming against them in the Champions League, pressure's always going to be on Pep Guardiola because I feel like if everyone's going to be a bit more objective in terms of the kind of results, and if you look at it from a very financial perspective as well, as of now, where they stand, this could be the last Champions League tenure that they may have in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
In the next 2 years, so I feel that he needs to win this match, and the board will be looking for him to, will be expecting him to win this match for sure, so that he could advance into going ahead into the Champions League as well. So we just have to see that how did this decision play with the players' heads, as well as how is Pep holding up with the pressure
Yeah. Well,
around him.
before then you continue, and Hassan, I'll come to you guys. I mean, you have a few. Thank you so much, guys. We have some questions pouring in right
Okay.
now. So we have one from Neo J from Malaysia. He thinks that Man City will be motivated, and they will come out strong and hard against Real Madrid, and he expects Guardiola to tell his players go for it. So continuing from where you left off. Then do you think can Manchester City actually defeat Real Madrid? I mean, they've been past masters of the Champions League, 3 times consecutive Champions League winners from 2015 till 2018. So what is your take on
Well,
it?
I think that if you look at Real Madrid and possibly compare it with Manchester City, I wouldn't say that Real Madrid has a very good team by far because it's not the same team as when Ronaldo was in the team and other players, other big names were in that team. Real Madrid is in a transitionary period as well.
Yeah.
I agree to that, but my point is that at the end of the day, there are issues and very critical issues at Manchester City due to which, which have affected their standing in the EPL leaderboard as well. And one of the very prominent issues would be their defensive issue. And I think that Real Madrid has a very attacking squad,
Definitely.
with a couple of very big names in there. One recent name going from the Premier League only, Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
I think that they do have that muscle to probably put some damage on City as well. So it's not like it's impossible to win this match. It is very much possible for them to win this match. But with all the pressure mounting up on the players, on the manager, plus going against a very big name in world football, and obviously against a pretty decent team and a very good manager as well in recent times, Zinedine Zidane, I think it's going to be a very tough job at hand.
And Guardiola, former Barcelona manager, going against Real Madrid, Zidane. So that's also
Yeah.
going to be a very important factor to this game.
100%.
And Hassan, apart from the Champions League, we have another question from Azmat. He asked that, do you think City can beat Leicester now?
Yeah, coming to Leicester, Leicester hasn't been at the top of its form recently, and even in the last match they drew 0-0, and suffered a red card as well, and especially Jamie Vardy hasn't been really firing. So the same can be said for City as well. They haven't really been the best, of late, but still they're getting the
Yeah,
results
but
and getting the
they
goals.
played well against West Ham. Kevin De Bruyne with
Yeah.
an assist
Yeah,
for Rodri to score a header, and he scored a goal for himself as well.
yeah.
The problem is, I think Jesus was a bit poor yesterday, wasn't finishing enough, and Aguero's also been a bit quiet lately.
I think although he's a legend and he scored a lot of goals, and I think he broke the record this year. This year for I think he's tied with third now.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
It's still getting old.
with City versus Leicester, I feel this fixture is very interesting. Reason being because you know at the moment the only thing I feel that the only thing that you know puts both the teams apart is the mentality.
Yes.
Okay, City has a very big has a big club mentality. You know, at the same end, Leicester has an underdog mentality. So obviously that really matters. But in recent times, because of this issue going on at City, I feel like you know mentally all players would be feeling the pressure as well, and the manager feeling the pressure. Leicester, if you look at the talent that they have in their team, they do have the talent. They are well equipped to damage a team with a weaker defense.
Yeah.
They've got players like James Maddison. They've got players like Jamie
Har-
Vardy. You know,
Harvey Barnes.
exactly. So my point is they do have that pace, they do have that creativity, they do have the muscle to actually damage another team in terms of their attack. So I feel like, you know, this particular fixture, as in it's going to be a very tough tie for both teams. And possibly if Leicester does go in it with their game faces on, I feel like Leicester can possibly also, as in it's not impossible again, and it's very much possible for Leicester to, you know, particularly
They
go for a
can.
win
Yeah,
in this.
especially you know putting it over the others because their downward slump started from the loss at Manchester City.
Agreed.
You know, and you know come back to winning ways.
And you
And
know, this match is also important because if City loses, you know, they'll be a bit down. I mean, they have to
they'll be
face
going.
Real Madrid.
Yeah,
So you want to go with a high morale, you know, with hopes that you defeat a team in the top three, like
Yeah.
Leicester.
No, plus as in if you're talking in that particular sense, then I feel like you know since this could possibly be you know again this could possibly be their last Champions League, as in not that they're not going to defend it, and I'm sure that you know UEFA is going to bend over for them, but as of now, since you know this could possibly be their last Champions League, they'd be looking to go for a win in terms
Yeah.
of the Champions League.
Yeah,
and it would be really funny if they actually win it.
Exactly.
And they get
Yeah,
banned.
that is.
And
Very
honestly
funny.
speaking, at the moment, if you look at you know their position in the Premier League, losing against Leicester wouldn't do them much good, or winning against Leicester wouldn't
Or-
do them much good.
Good or harm.
So
Whatever.
I possibly see Pep, you know, resting a couple of players in this match, you know, because this is a very this has been a very busy week. They just got off a game against you know West Ham, and now they're going against you know Leicester, which is again a very
It's going to be tough, yes.
tough team to beat as well in this particular time. So I feel like you know if he's resting a couple of players, he's obviously not prioritizing over his Premier League, which is you know pretty rational of him to do
Yeah,
so.
I think it makes sense. I mean, even if I was Pep, even if I want to leave the club or the players, why not go on a high note?
Exactly.
Why not actually
And they win something.
win the Champions League?
Exactly.
You know, it's for them from their point of view. I mean, Rob, throw dirt on UEFA's face. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm the
exactly.
champion and you don't allow me
You
to play
can
for
stop.
2
You
years.
can stop me from winning this
Yeah,
season.
exactly,
But
exactly.
it's easier said than done. Again, I mean, Real Madrid, very tough team.
It is
So-
definitely
So
a tough
what do you
team.
guys think is going to be the score lines of these two matches?
Well, should I go first or
yeah,
are you
you
going
can go
first?
first.
I feel like Leicester's gonna win it, but I do feel like Man City's definitely gonna try coming back. Now this is just an opinion that I have. I feel like Leicester can win this either 3-1 or 2-1.
Okay.
That's what I'm going for. It's a
Very,
very,
very-
bold statement.
Very bold statement.
But I feel like Leicester's gonna win this one, and I don't know why. My gut could be wrong, but that's what my gut says.
And Real Madrid?
Against Real Madrid, you know, either they're gonna draw or you know they're gonna lose to Real Madrid.
And you?
I think they're going to win against Leicester because Leicester has been scoring right now, looking at the recent form.
Yes.
But then again, I agree with Dan. Leicester can pull up surprises. But I think City is more determined more than ever now.
100%.
So I feel City might win against Leicester. But against Real Madrid, I feel Real Madrid is with both legs. I think Real Madrid is going to win it. They're going to knock City out.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel Leicester hasn't been playing really well at King Power recently, so City has a very good chance of
Okay.
winning there. And City is also going away to the Bernabeu. So
Yeah, it's going to be very tough.
it's going to be very tough for them. So City is going to win against Leicester, but either draw or loss against Real Madrid.
Because my point is that the only form of defense at the moment, because he understands that he doesn't have a lot of good defenders, he
Yeah,
doesn't have a
yeah.
good defense line. So the only form of defense for City that makes sense is a very pressurizing
Good,
attack.
Pressurizing,
good
yeah.
offense.
And you know,
So-
someone sorry to interrupt. I mean, someone like Real Madrid, the type of strategy they have, they'll be keeping a very keen eye on Man
Exactly.
City players. Maybe De Bruyne to purchase.
De Bruyne,
he
Mahrez,
performs
Sterling, and all
how
of
they
them.
perform against Real Madrid. Sterling has
Exactly.
been on Real Madrid.
So they're going to be giving them everything, because Real Madrid, Hala Madrid, as in that's the dream of every player.
Especially English players.
Exactly. Not only English players. I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
because
Real Madrid is
Real
a
Madrid.
future aspiration for
everyone ends up there.
everyone. Yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
players do go there.
100%.
So I guess this is about it for the video.
That's about it, guys, and thank you so much. I received a lot of messages.
Yes.
That is why I was busy on the cell phone, constantly, ringing.
And
but I couldn't read all of your messages because most of you asked the same questions.
keep
So
on
this had
messaging
to-
us, and we'd love to do the same thing.
Yeah, and hope Dayan, me, and Hassan have tried to answer whatever questions you had.
Yeah.
And just keep them coming.
Alright. And also remember to share the video and subscribe to our channel.
Definitely.
100%.
And share it with your friends. And
That's
leave
one of the
comments.
most important things. Yes.
Yeah, leave comments like we did
100%.
last week.
100%. 100%. Okay.
Alright.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye bye.
Allah Hafiz.